and welcome to the Two Tunes podcast.
You are.
Bo said, "Are you ready?" And I was like, Just held it for a while. It's a fun gag I do, Bo.
Two Captain America boys.
Two Captain America boys wearing the shirt in honor of July 5th, which apparently today it is.
Yes.
As we record this.
What hat are you wearing that's backwards?
I'm wearing the Rocket City Trash Painters.
Okay, but it's backwards.
Baseball team, yeah.
Do you wear
it
hat?
fits better backwards.
Do you wear hats backwards?
I don't wear hats as much as I used to.
Yeah.
And I used to wear them both ways, depending
I never wear hats.
on situation.
I mean, I wear beanies. I don't wear baseball caps.
You're a hipster.
I'm totally a hipster. Look at me. If you wore a beanie, you'd be a hipster too.
Sure. This hat for some reason just fits me better backwards. So also just put it on that way.
Mm-hmm.
I did shower today. It used to mean so I used to wear hats a lot in high school and college, and then eventually wearing a hat meant that I had not showered that day. And now I just kind of wear hats occasionally. Today was more of a me conserving the hair stuff that I have.
Gotcha.
Because I have to order it online, and it takes some time to get here, and I'm going away soon. As we're recording this, I will be leaving in about 5 days.
But that was a month ago.
Yeah, to go to the AP Music Theory reading. This is the confusing thing about this, Bo.
That it's called a reading?
It's called a reading.
I understand.
And I'm called a reader.
Yeah.
And you know what we're doing? Grading. And I'm a grader. But we're readers. So it's interesting. So I will have stories about it in like another month because we're doing a few episodes today. Just to
in August?
Give people a peek behind the curtain. Yeah, you will find out in August what I did in June.
In August.
Also, this episode is coming out on July 5th.
Yes.
You said you will be going home for the 4th.
I'll be going to Titusville.
Okay.
Home of the birth of the oil industry.
Yeah. Do you know where I will be on July 4th?
You will be watching the Trash Pandas.
Yeah, I'll be in Huntsville, Alabama for a Trash Pandas game. Do you know where I will be on July 5th?
I don't know.
Well, the easy answer would to say Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama.
I will not be. I will be a couple hours north in Nashville seeing Frank Turner.
Oh, yeah.
So that's exciting.
Is that the tour that he's playing 2 shows?
So he's doing 50 states in 50 days, which sometimes means 2 shows in the same day.
Okay.
Because originally when I was looking
Is he doing Alaska? Well, I mean, that would be 50 states.
50 states in 50 days, yeah. I assume Alaska and Hawaii, there's probably like some travel time built in to be able to get there. Maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why you do 2 shows on a day in some cases, so that way you have more time to travel in between. Because it's not.
Oh, like he's doing.
It's like
he's doing
over
like
50 days.
He's doing Kentucky and Tennessee in the same day. Could be.
He was at one point doing. I think the schedule has changed.
Basically, the East Coast is going to be like this same day shows.
Not necessarily.
It would be though because they're closer together.
Some of them are.
The states are smaller.
Some of them are. But like the
Midwest.
The one show he was doing was in. He was doing one in Mississippi, like Biloxi, Mississippi, and then like Birmingham, Alabama. At one point, he was doing that, but I don't know that he's doing that now. August 1st is Honolulu, which is actually So July 30th he's playing Los Angeles, and then the 31st would be like a travel day, and then the 1st he's playing Honolulu. Okay, yeah, and he's got like Wilmington, Delaware, the same day as Philly. Queens, New York, the same day as New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stuff like that. South Carolina, North Carolina, same day. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, the same day as Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile?
So that is still happening.
Mobile?
Yeah. Mobile.
I know, you're right.
Yeah, but some of them are also acoustic shows. Those are like matinees.
Mm-hmm. So that he can do the rock show.
Do the rock show at night.
The next day and the next day.
And
or the same day.
Special guests and stuff. AJJ. I don't know AJJ. Amigo the Devil, who somebody in the Discord suggested.
Mm-hmm.
Avail, Bouncing Souls, Face to Face,
Nice.
Riverboat Gamblers, The Bronx, and Pet Needs will be playing all the red shows.
So is he? Is he
seeing-
the headliner for all those?
Yeah, it's him and the Sleeping Souls.
Okay.
So the show I'm seeing, it's the Bronx and Pet Needs. Like they're on the whole tour, but then there's also some other guests, like
The
some
Bronx
of those
are
other
good.
bands. I've heard of them. I'm sure I've actually heard some of their music. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's at is it the Brooklyn Bowl? Is that what that's called?
I have no idea.
The venue there, I think. I've heard of it, but it'd be cool. And then I'll be seeing another Trash Pandas game on the 7th.
So, is there you're doing the Trash Pandas, then you're going to see Frank Turner, and then you're going back down?
Yeah, it's only like 2 hours.
Okay.
It's like driving to Philly for a show and then coming home.
Yeah.
Or like last night I was in Philly for a baseball game.
Are you going to be based in...
We're going to be based in Huntsville for the week.
Okay.
So the plan is to...
For a week?
Well, the better part of a week. So the plan is on the 2nd, leave Harrisburg. Mm-hmm. This is me and my friend Mike. We're driving and we're going to stay in Asheville, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And we're there Saturday night the 2nd, and then all day Sunday the 3rd. And then on the 4th, drive to Huntsville. Mm-hmm. And then go to the game on the 4th. Frank Turner in Nashville on the 5th, come back. The 6th is just a free day for us in Huntsville. During the day of the 7th, free day, and then go to the game on the 7th at night. And on the 8th, start traveling back. Somehow see Thor somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then stay in, I think, like around Blacksburg, and then come back on the 9th. And the night of the 9th, I'm going to see May at HMAC. And I'm excited about that. Do you know the band May?
I know the name.
Multi-aesthetic experience.
Does it actually mean something?
Multi-sensory aesthetic experience.
Wow.
Yeah. I always forget the sensory part. Yeah, multi-sensory aesthetic experience.
Because multi-sensory is one word.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's cool. They're back. They haven't been a band for a while, and they're back. But yeah, it's going to be kind of a jam-packed week. But when we went to Huntsville last year, we were like, oh, this town's kind of cool, but we're only here for like 2 days. So let's spend like more time. Mm-hmm. And they have games the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. No, not the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. So like we could have seen a bunch of games. We're like, we'll see 2. That's enough baseball games.
That'd be so like... Yeah, you should go every year. Mm-hmm. Is that the plan?
Not necessarily, but it'd be cool. It's also nice that it's not that far from Nashville.
Yeah.
So like you could just like Harrisburg to Nashville, they have those flights for pretty cheap.
Okay.
So you could fly into Nashville, hang out in Nashville if you want, or just drive straight down, to Huntsville, go to a game. Like you could really do it over like 2 days or something if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. So
$158.
There we go.
It's
not bad.
It's not that bad. Because imagine the amount of gas that you'd spend.
Yeah, rent a car.
I'm thinking like if you get
a cheap hotel room,
it's less than 3 tanks of gas.
Yeah, right now it is.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
Just to go to Nashville, not to like go to see those teams. Anyways, we plan on going out west next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Anyways, we're here to talk about 2 tunes.
Okay. If we must.
You're going to go first today.
I'm going to go first. What did I send you first?
Roman Candles.
Oh, yeah. Roman Candle by River Oaks. So we have mentioned the person that is behind River Oaks. Mm-hmm. It's just one person. Shane Told. We've mentioned him before. He's the lead singer of Silverstein, who we listened to one of their songs, right?
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah. And also he's the host of the Lead Singer Syndrome podcast, where he interviews lead singers of all kinds of various bands. It started out mostly of like similar genre to him.
Yes.
And then has expanded to
whatever.
Yeah, which is cool. Like, lead singer. That's the whole thing. It's not lead singer of punk and punk adjacent bands. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I should get back into that. There's been some that have popped up recently that I'm like, oh yeah, I would be interested in hearing them talk to that person.
Yeah.
So cool. So River Oaks is like his side project, I guess. Acoustic D.
I think he was just like based on the new. This is my opinion. Uh-huh. Based on the new record, it doesn't look like Shane is the main songwriter. Mm-hmm. So he probably like writes a whole bunch of songs, but he's not like the main guy anymore.
Yeah. Well, and there's also like I think most side projects stem out of I'm writing songs that don't fit for the band that I'm in.
Yes, yeah,
and so
totally.
I need an outlet for them, which makes a ton of sense. MXPX is the one that comes to mind for me because it was like the first time I realized that like people did that. Because I was a big fan. I'm still a big fan of them, but I was a big fan of them, and it was like, wait, what's this band Arthur? Oh, it's all the same guys from MXPX, but like just a different vibe. Wait, what's this band The Cooties? Oh, it's 2/3 of MXPX with a couple other guys writing songs that are similar but not the same and stuff, like just different things like that.
I'd like to point, I'm like on the website of River Oaks.
Oh, okay.
And he's clean shaven.
Yeah.
Like the band hasn't done anything since 2017.
Right.
Or he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, he released, so it's a single, but it's 3 tracks that are on this single.
Is it only 3?
I think so.
Yes, it is. It was a 7-inch EP.
I should look for that.
And he played everything.
Yeah, I figured.
Even drums, as it says here. I poured every ounce of my heart and soul into it.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're all good songs. This one just struck me the most.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where I'm like, how do I make this into a karaoke track that I can just take to karaoke and go, can you play this for me?
I mean, you could build it.
I guess.
Come on, man.
But I think like just walking up to whatever DJ at a karaoke venue and be like, here, put this in instead of all the stuff you have pre-programmed.
It's off Rise Records.
Okay.
In America and internationally.
Yeah, I didn't realize it had a physical release. I should try to look for that.
Always look for physical releases.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways.
Cool. Let's
Here's
listen.
Roman Candle.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot off your mouth like a Roman candle. Hotter than hell, you're too much to handle. You've taken this too far, and now you're shooting your own star. I'm saying goodbye like an ocean wave.
Like his use of like metaphors and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Cravings. You've taken me this far.
I'm trying to listen to, there's a thing that I don't like about how it's produced. It's not in the chorus. The chorus is great.
This is the last time you get away. You know you'll make it up to me.
Also, I said originally acoustic-y thing. It's not acoustic. It's just not so much drums and bass and everything else until eventually. Yeah. And also, if you listen to Silverstein versus this, it might as well be acoustic.
Yes. It's totally like a very clean electric guitar.
That's the part that overlap thing.
It bugs you?
Yeah.
It bugs me too.
Yeah. It bugs me from a trying to sing along perspective. But
it's in the verses that you can tell it's like they're overlapped.
Yeah.
Like you can tell there.
There's a spot in the first verse too where you can tell, like he sang individual lines and then they just drop those in as opposed to him taking a breath and it mostly just bugs me from a singing along perspective, but like there's plenty of bands that have done something similar. Yeah.
And you can't.
And then the phrasing is weird and bring it down so you can bring it up.
But it doesn't really go down too far.
No. It's for like 2 beats.
I wish there was backing vocals that would like just double like a crowd, like gang vocals for this part, even though like
I hear like like even something like that would work, like a chorus of that.
You should just email him and say, hey, I want to remix these songs.
Let's collab on this, bro. There's another one of those overlapping. Yeah, that's pretty obvious that it does it.
I think this is just like, let me get this out.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I remember he went on tour with this.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's not like a River Oaks because they only had 3 songs.
Right.
But he did like Silverstein songs as well as like cover songs.
But was it like stripped back?
It was just him and an acoustic guitar, and then it was somebody else as well.
Sure,
I forget. Who
but
the
this
other
totally
person
fits
is.
with that, you know.
Oh yeah, totally.
That would have been a cool one to see.
In 2017, ish. I remember listening to the podcast, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go out for this thing because we're not doing anything." Well, maybe you should do something. So Shane Told, you know where the name comes from?
Shane Told or River Oaks?
River Oaks.
I was like, I assume his parents.
No, River Oaks.
No.
It's where he grew up.
Okay, like it's the name of the town.
I don't think it's the town, but maybe like the subdivision or something like that. I think that's where, or what I heard from him.
Okay.
It was definitely like, oh, this is where I grew up. It's called River Oaks because he lived in the River Oaks subdivision, or the town of River Oaks, Ontario.
I like his logo that he has.
Oh,
too.
it's super cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, man, I wish I could come up with something cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really good. I like that. Go check it out. Again, it's just 3 tracks.
I have not heard that, and I knew about it. I just didn't care enough to check it out at that point.
I was going to say weirdly enough, but not weirdly enough, because we know about how track 1s tend to get more traction.
Yes, yeah.
So track 1, Let You Down, has over 700,000 streams on Spotify.
There's also
Mistakes, which is the second track,
has
only 184, and then Roman Candle has 226,000.
Yeah. Well, Let You Down had an official video.
Oh, fair enough.
So there's that as well. Here's the audio-only version. If you are from Germany and can't get YouTube working, or you are still working on a Pentium 2.
Nice.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's blocked. So that's River Oaks.
Yeah.
The solo side project of Shane Told of Silverstein, who just put out a new record like a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago, probably.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah. That's a good record. You should all listen to that.
Yeah, I'll have to dig into that one.
All right.
I recall liking the tune that you played.
This week? Right now?
No. Well, yeah, that one too.
Oh, no, the Silverstein.
The Silverstein one. Yeah, that was from the new record, right?
It was, yeah.
Because again, I forget everything we've done.
As soon as we leave this room. I don't know.
Sometimes even when we're still in it, doing another episode 20 minutes later.
True. All right, so I've been on a search for
spiritual quest,
Midwest emo. And then really it all stems from who I'm going to have like in 2 weeks, Yvette Young, so Covet. So she was talking about how like, oh, I was into this band and this band and this band. So it was American Football, which we had already talked about many times ago. She talked a band called Toe, but it might be called Toei because they're from Japan, but it's TOE. And then this band, TTNG. They definitely changed their name.
Ta-ting.
But because the TTNG stands for something, but we're not going to say because we don't care.
Fair enough.
Because
I didn't look it up, but it's not good.
It's good. It's fine, but it's not appropriate in this time in America. They are not from America. They are from Oxford, London, Britain. I don't know, Oxford, England. And you've heard this band before?
Yeah. We can say what it's called.
Okay, This Town Needs Guns.
Yeah, I have heard that name. This Town Needs Guns. Yes, I have.
But
heard
now
that.
they go by TTNG.
Fair enough. No, but I've definitely heard the name of that band.
So here's the thing. This what we're doing is like the acoustic version of this album called Animals. And I listened to this version, and I also listened to the original version. And this version has trumpet in it, or horns in general.
It's got saxes and trumpets,
but like the first instrument you hear is a trumpet. In the original, the trumpet is super like wavery.
Okay.
Like they don't their breath support is very, very weak, or it's computerized and it's not real.
Okay.
If you listen to the original, this one, the trumpet is way better. Like it performed better.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the thing that I heard first, and I'm like, this is awesome. I wonder what the electric version said. It's like the same song. Like there's not much different.
Yeah.
obviously this album is called Animals. This one's called Animals Acoustic. Everything on here is every song is an animal. On the U.S. track, no, it's not the U.S. track list. There's some version of it, like the track listing is all messed up.
Okay,
like it's not consistent ever. Like one version of it, it's just alphabetical.
Okay,
and then another version of it, it's like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they decided, hey, let's just give them names that have no meaning whatsoever, and we'll go back and we'll eventually change it. And they're like, all right, we're just going to name them all animals. This one's called chinchilla. This one's baboon. This one's lemur. And then they're like, we can't figure out a name for these.
Sure.
So they just kept them. So this one's called Elk. It's an instrumental track, which is weird for me to bring.
Right.
Because I've never brought. I've never brought.
Brunged.
Well, I mean, language is ever evolving, so there is no wrong words. There's no wrong way to say it. Like eventually it will be the library, because enough kids are saying library instead of library.
Sure.
But whatever. Language evolves. So this one's called Elk. It's got trumpet in it. I liked it. Emo. Guitar. Midwest emo sounding.
They're listed as math rock as well.
Yes, and math rock. Math rock.
This song's less mathy to me.
Yeah, there's not much weird stuff to it, but it's got that Midwest emo like guitar part that's like, and it also reminds me of Jer.
Okay.
Scott 2 Network, like stuff he would do. Or they would do.
Yeah.
So no lyrics at all.
Do they have lyrics on other songs?
Yeah, some other songs.
Just this one is.
Just this one.
I didn't listen to anything else off of this yet.
Yeah, this one's just a soulful ballady, calm.
It's a little through composed as well. It gets a little more mathy here.
Yeah, tapping, harmonics. There's obviously a different guitar tuning. It's not your standard tuning. You wouldn't. I mean, guitar players might know that, but like, they're like, how do you do that? I mean, that's kind of. This is back to that same melody. Yeah, it's not entirely through. Maybe it's more like rondo, like maybe come back to certain sections. I haven't really tried to figure out the structure. I haven't either. I just, as I was listening earlier. You're like, what can you grab onto? Yeah, and I just was kind of like, oh, I'm not really catching on stuff coming back as much. I mean, I guess this trumpet, but even this, it's changing already. Yeah. From what it was the first time. Rondo theme and variation. This is the same. Yeah, I guess it is. So ABAB so far. Yeah. I think it occurred to me more like later on, and I was like, wait, is this stuff? I don't know. Yeah. I only listened once. I didn't get a chance to listen a couple times. Then C section, which like all this stuff is really, really cool. You kind of like, for me, like last week I think when we had Polyphia, it's like that's kind of like I want to become a real guitar player, not just like, well, I play guitar. Yeah, like where I'm like, no, I know more about it. Yeah. This part's interesting because they just layer them in. Yeah. Not at random, but seemingly at random. Like, sometimes it joins in at the beginning of the phrase, and sometimes it joins in the middle of the phrase. And yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Because, like, that first time when they had the second trumpet, which you also hear on the left channel. Yeah. It just comes in, like, on the third note of the phrase. I think this is, like, the next hook of the song. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about, because I know that there's a harmony that kicks in. Yeah, there it is. Tenor sax. It just builds now. Yeah. It's like, it's the same thing, but how can we manipulate it and make it more interesting as time goes on? Barry sax. That's I think that melody.
And is all this stuff in the original? Or is it just that like singular trumpet?
I know that the trumpet is in it. It just... I think some of it's guitar.
Okay.
There's like less winds. I've only listened to it like once or twice. Because I'm like, this one's better. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's Elk. What does it mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
No meaning. It's just a song. It's just a ditty.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I like I said, I hadn't listened to any more of this, and I was curious if it was all instrumental or not.
Would you listen to more?
Maybe. My actual thought was like sometimes in my music theory classes when they're taking a test, like just like a written test, it's like chords or whatever, like stuff that they don't need to like be hearing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just like put on some music. Mm-hmm. And like not stuff that's going to distract them too much and whatever. So like one of my favorite albums to put on is there's a vocal jazz group called The Real Group, but they have an album of all Swedish choral music that they do. So it's all in Swedish.
Yeah.
So they don't know any of it. It's all Swedish choral music. So it's like a lot of folk tunes and things. And it's like it's nothing they're going to recognize. And so I like to put that on sometimes. But I was like, oh, this is something I could if the whole album was like that tune. Yeah, I could put on that in the background of whatever, you know, or even while I'm working, because I like to listen to stuff like while I'm working too sometimes. But I can, depending on what it is, I can like get too sucked in and be like paying attention. So I try to play more instrumental things if I can. So
you like Echoes in the Well House?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Which my 4th album came out a month ago.
Nice. Oh, here's a question for you.
It's in the future for us.
So you explained why they named the songs like they did.
Yeah.
We're just gonna call them animals. We'll figure it out later. Yeah. And then they didn't figure it out. But is it hard to name instrumental things?
In my opinion, yes. 100%.
Because you don't have like lyrical content to grab onto. I assume. Well, I don't know. Assume is maybe not the right word, but like, do you have? Your thing's different though too, because you do like more ambient stuff. But do you have ideas of like, you know, what your theme of it is or whatever?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
I do have themes.
You know,
or at least for the newest one. Well, not the newest one, the 3rd one.
Okay. So then that I would assume would maybe make it
Liberty Cap.
Okay, would make it easier, I guess, for you to maybe. Figure out a title to, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, this one's supposed to be like the rainstorm in the middle of June and whatever and blah blah blah, and so then maybe you call it like
could be.
Do you know what I mean? Like that,
I do.
Then at least maybe you've got a thing and you call it like petrichor or something like that. You know, like but if it's just I'm just doing this thing and I just came up with this and whatever, and you're like, I don't freaking know, red Gatorade because that's what's on the desk next to me. You know, like
so. The 1st, 2nd, and 4th album are just random names that don't mean anything. Because I would write this song and then I'd be like, look up, like figure out names.
Sure.
It's just like, that's cool. Cool, that's the first one.
Yeah.
And then I did, in this newer, the 4th album, it's called The Endless. And I recorded it like a year ago. Or in October of 2020. October 20? Yeah, October 2020. And the theme was the Endless, who are Sandman characters. So there's destruction, dream.
So this is almost more like a concept record.
Yeah.
Loosely.
But here's the thing. Like I was like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. And then I would just create the things. I wouldn't put any thought into, does the name fit? So like, there's no meaning. Like there's not enough. Connected. It's just like I'm going to name these 7 things, these 7 names because that's the theme.
Works and okay.
Now, the most recent, or not the most recent one, the Liberty Cap. Everything's in Phrygian.
Okay.
So Phrygian cap.
What?
Do you know what the Phrygian cap is?
No. That's why I said what.
So it's a hat that was like a sign of revolution in France.
Okay.
Which then you like everything's kind of like connected to Phrygian, and then I would look up like what is Phrygian? Not just the mode, but like the place and
Phrygia?
things that and what happened there. So all of the names of the songs are kind of related to things that I would discover in research of things. Mm-hmm. So every single name is based on stories that happened in Phrygia or adjacent that. So the Gordian knot is there, and what is it? Hands of Gold. So King Midas. That's part of that thing, and then
I recognize this now. This Liberty Cap.
Bull's blood is he was like bathed in bull's blood or something like that. It's like it just kind of like all these things are in Phrygian. So where does that come from? Connected to that? Oh, these stories came up. Oh, and then kind of did a through line of things that were connected to that in some way. So all of the names are kind of derived from that, and like I think that's really cool. But I also have one. I shouldn't even say this because I haven't even started it. But here, this I'm handing him a piece of paper that he probably can't even read.
Can I read it out loud?
No.
Okay.
But you can see it, right?
I can't see the word next to the first word.
Wars.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So it's that, and then all the names are going to be in this.
Okay.
And then they're going to be
cool.
Those things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But now, okay, so now here, are you going to like pick out track 1 is insert and then base it on that, or is it going to be more like the endless one where it's going to be like I just have these 7 things, or in this case
I have these names. No,
also 7
things. Don't
even
go there's
there?
not. There's not. What
enough.
You're thinking there's not 7, there's like a million. And they don't have blue and green. Well, they do have green now, but green is blue. Blue and green are the same thing.
Okay.
It's about color.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of colors. But yeah, I haven't gone that far as far as like. Now, I did have a record that totally sounded like space because it was all. What is it called? I can't think of it. Modular Synthesis. And it all was like bloops and bleeps and stuff like that. And I had that, and it was like I had a name, but it's like it's all space themed.
Okay.
And it was basically just like a bunch of galaxies.
Sure.
Like each galaxy was a thing, and I would think about it as like, oh, this does sound like this. Oh, that's cool. That sounds like that.
Yeah.
But the discovery within the creation of it, and finding connections. Because I want everyone to kind of like find their own connection. I don't want people like even in like music that actually has lyrics and like you could read it as this way or you could read it this way. I like your own interpretation of things. I don't want people like that's not what it is. It means this.
Yeah.
I would rather than be like, well, what do you think it means? Like I would never. I mean, I probably would, but I don't want people to be like my version is the definitive version.
Sure.
Of anything.
Yeah.
Like. Other things. Anyways.
I for like a long time have thought about little phrases or things that I've seen like, oh, that'd be a cool song title or whatever.
Yeah.
But I never keep track of them.
Yeah. Oh well,
I'm currently reading as of the time that this comes out, I will have finished because I've got 2 chapters left and like 20 pages, but a memoir by the artist named John Lurie, Lurie. Who was he's a musician, he's a sax player. He led the band called the Lounge Lizards, if you're familiar with them. It's like a band I've definitely heard of, but I
sounds totally
couldn't
familiar.
name any of their music. I'm going to like get into some of their music now.
Is it similar to Richard Cheese?
I don't know. I think it's funny because like in the book, I specifically like when I started, I was like, oh, I should like try to like listen along with everybody. Kind of like jumps around a little bit in time. Like it's mostly chronological, but then some things will kind of speed up and some things will slow down or go back. But I was like, no, after I finish the book, I'm going to like kind of like do a deep dive on listening to their stuff. But they're a jazz group, but he always says like, when they were playing and stuff in like the 80s and 90s and stuff, people just like all the jazz people were like, you're too punk rock and you're just like this punk rock band, you're not even a jazz band or whatever. And so Yeah, but I'm going to get into them. But anyway, there were two things that were brought up. One is just a phrase that he said, and one is a thing that he mentions. And both of them, I was like, those would be cool song title ideas. And so I've written them down. So I'm just going to keep a running list now on my phone. And if I think about it, I will update everyone on the podcast when I come up with new ones. Do you want to hear what they are?
Sure.
So the one is a quote. I even wrote down a quote from The History of Bones by John Lurie, which is good. It's a really good book. It's really interesting if you like memoirs, especially. It's from chapter 11, page 121, so I know where to find it, and I can also find the context again. But it says, Charles Ives had nothing on 3rd Street at 4 a.m.
Okay.
So basically referencing, if you know about Charles Ives' music, is kind of out there. And so it's basically saying, like, yeah, you think that's out there? Come to 3rd Street at 4 a.m. in 1982. You're going to hear some weird shit going on. And then the other one is he mentions this thing called Hobson's Choice. And I had to look up what Hobson's Choice was. Do you know what it is?
No.
Apparently there's a band called that and a film. But it says a choice of taking what is available or nothing at all. Like a take it or leave it situation, basically. Mm-hmm. But it's like an actual thing. And I thought that would make a really interesting name for a contrafact of the tune called All or Nothing at All. So for those that don't know, a contrafact or contrafactum is where you take the chord changes to one song and then write your own melody over the top. And now it's a brand new thing, and it's fine copyright-wise because you can't copyright chord changes.
Until some pop stars be like, you can't do that.
Yeah, but they've been doing it in lots of different musics for a long time, but in jazz, it kind of became a thing. So that way players could, like, solo over the same changes a lot that they already were familiar with and wanted to explore more. But like we can't just keep playing the same song over and over again. So but yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of it basically means all or nothing at all. And so I was like, oh, there is a jazz standard called that. So if I write like a contrafact, call it Hobson's Choice. So those are the two I got so far.
Cool. Are those song names or lyrical ideas?
No, those are song names.
Okay.
They'd be probably instrumentals. I actually envisioned the Charles Ives Has Nothing on 3rd Street at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
As part of like a little suite.
Oh, okay.
Like a little jazz band suite or something. Mm-hmm. And like that would be one of the movements, and it'd just be like real whacked out and weird. So we'll see. Keep everyone updated on that as well.
Cool. Well, where can they find us?
On this podcast, which they're currently listening to.
And what should they do since they're here?
Listen to it.
And subscribe.
Yeah, I guess. Seems like pretty good.
If you like it,
subscribe. Give it a like. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies. Tell Frangela, tell Angela.
Yeah.
Tell your grandma.
And then they can go to the Discord.
Go to the Discord. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah. Awesome things happen.
I just joined another Discord.
Did you?
Yeah, for Sammy Ray and the friends.
See?
There's like no action in there though.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm not getting bombarded with
as much
stuff. I just kind of assumed it would be a more active group.
Yeah.
But apparently not. That's fine. I just saw that they had it and I was like, oh yeah, I should. Because like the way, if folks don't know how Discords work, there's a specific link you have to follow.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go on a Discord and search for it or whatever. I don't think anyway.
No.
So when I saw the link, I was like, ooh, I better join now before I forget and then can't find it or whatever. So, but yeah, join the Discord. You can ask us stuff or talk about stuff or share things.
And you don't even have to talk with us. There's some really cool people.
Talk to everybody else in there. Find us on Instagram at Two Tunes Podcast, Facebook, Two Tunes Podcast. Send us an email, twotunespodcast@gmail.com. Ask us questions because I like answering questions. We'll maybe do one of those next week or the week after. So, thanks for listening, everybody.
All right, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.